Alrighty, so step one is going to be the optional mesh pocket. Alrighty, so step one is going to be the optional mesh pocket. To do the mesh pocket, you'll need the mesh. You should have a square, and then you cut off 1.5 inches from that. Well, maybe not a square, but like you should have like one of these made out of mesh. And then you cut off 1.5 inches from the top to separate it. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add double-sided tape here. In order to keep your mesh in place. And then you're going to do 2 lines, one at 1/8 of an inch and then one at 1/4 of an inch to attach it to the zipper. And if you stretch out your mesh a little, that's okay. I made in the pattern, I go for a longer binding here, so that way you can. So you could try to, measure it up, make sure it's long enough. Your binding should be 9.5 inches. I just do mine little guesstimate. So alright, so I'm going to sew 2 lines. Again, I'm going to sew at 1/8 and 1/4 inch. And again, I'm using a zipper foot throughout the whole process. This is a little tiny foot that I did find through Sunny Sewing Machines and Lauren at Mormino. So you can check that out. And again, I'm going to go through a second line at 1/8. Okay, then going to repeat the process for the top. All right, so there's our mesh pocket. I'm going to take one of the lining pieces and I'm going to line it up at the top, or if you want to make sure your zipper is straight. So this is why I like to do excess, because otherwise it ends up too short and then you're going to miss it in your seams. So yeah, right there. So that's straight, and then I'm going to just attach it at 1/8 of an inch. And then on the corners, if my mesh is too short, I'll pull it a little bit to make sure it goes all the way to the corners. Now I'm going to trim the excess and then set it aside. Okay, next step, which would be step 1 if you're skipping the mesh, is you're going to take your exterior piece and then put it wrong sides with your other lining piece, and then you're going to attach it at 1/8 of an inch. Alright, our next step is to do the gusset for the zipper. We're going to take our lining, put it right side up, take our zipper, put it right side up as well. So the wrong side of the zipper should be facing the right side of the lining. And then we are going to put our lining piece right side down. So we're making a little layer here. All right, we're going to stitch that together at 1/4 of an inch. So again, lining piece right side up, zipper right side up, exterior wrong side up. Okay, 1/4 of an inch. Okay, now you're going to fold it back. You're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch, Make sure you get your lining really well and tight, because if there's a lot of excess at the top of your lining and you like catch it like too high, what ends up happening is that your lining is too short and it doesn't match your exterior, and then you're going to run into problems. So again, you just want to make sure to really fold your interior lining really nice and tight before top stitching. And then we're going to repeat for the other side. So when I flip it, so if I have it like this, right, I'm going to take my exterior fabric, put it right sides together with my zipper. I'm going to loop my lining so that it is wrong side of the zipper to the right side of the lining. So it's the same thing, just bringing it back. Then again, I'm going to stitch at 1/8 of an inch and then top stitch at, or sorry, stitch at 1/4 of an inch and then top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. Again, I'm going to fold it back, making sure that my lining is nice and folded on the seam so that it doesn't catch when I'm stitching. So see, when I fold it, it is nice and it's the right length here. If I accidentally catch too much up top, then what ends up happening is that the lining is shorter and then it doesn't work. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I've got my side seams, or my gusset marks. That's the center on the side, and then I'm going to go ahead and fold it and then mark the centers on the zipper, barely. You don't want to clip too much onto your zipper because then it'll unravel. And then you're going to clip your bottom gusset to mark your centers. Okay. Then take your exterior lining and you're going to want to mark your centers as well. On the top and on the sides. Okay, and now we're going to take our zipper, and I want it to open left to right, so I'm going to make sure that it's lined up that way. I'm going to turn the zipper gusset inside out. Okay. And then I'm going to line my center. So here's my center for my zipper. I'm going to clip that in place. I'm going to match my center for my gusset. Clip that in place. Gonna match my center for my bottom. And then match my last seam here. And then I'm going to attach this at 1/8 of an inch. So next step will be to add the binding. For this step, I'm using 3/8 inch binding. I always like to start from the bottom. I like to fold over the bit here, and then I'm going to attach it at 1/4 of an inch. Alrighty, that binding looks so good. I'm going to fold it back and make sure I've caught all my seams, because I think I missed some earlier. So I'm just going to fold it. Yep, look, see, missed that seam here, so I'm gonna have to, and then I missed the seam here, so gonna have to stitch this part and the curve. Got it that time, and then this here. Got it that time. Always gotta check to make sure we catch our seams. All right, next step. Oh, nope, still didn't catch it. Alright, now we got it. Okay. So now you're going to take your mesh pocket and or your lining piece that you have left over. You're going to mark your centers. And then you are going to attach it at one, you're going to, well, match it first of all. Okay, now I'm going to go around and I'm attach it at 1/8 of an inch. There we have our front pocket all nice and beautifully finished. And the next step will be attach it to the main body gusset. Alrighty, for the next step we will be attaching the pocket to the front main panel piece and doing the lining for the front side as well. So you should have this piece here, which is your main main piece, make sure you're cutting on the dotted line and not like taking the pocket piece and then tracing that on your piece to cut out, because the pocket piece is larger to make it fit. So if you take the pocket piece and then use that to cut out instead of using the dotted line, this is going to be too big and you're not going to be able to, it's not going to be the right size. Okay. So first things first, I'm going to mark my centers here. Now I have added markings, side markings too, if you want to, for the zipper. So if you wanted to mark the gusset too, you could. All right, so the way this is going to work is you are going to place your main body panel face up, and then you're going to put your pocket in the middle. Then, and I'll turn it this way so you can see, you're going to fold it over. Okay, making sure to mark your centers, or align your centers. Okay, because that is where we're gonna stitch on. Okay, so again, main piece up, pocket down, fold, and mark your centers, or match your centers to your piece, and then you'll do the same for the bottom. Again, you can do the gusset if you want. I did not. Where's my center marking? Center marking. There it is. But essentially what you'll do is you'll fold it all over as you follow along. You will be stitching at 1/4 of an inch. I like to open my zipper for this too. It helps. When I get to the corners, what I do is I fold it over and I push it out a bit like this so that I can make sure to catch the seam. And I go slowly around the corners to make sure I catch it all. But I do like to start at this like top left corner. I'm going to stitch at 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Getting to a corner, so again I'm going to fold it over and I'm going to align my curve, and I'm going to take it slow here. Try to keep my head out of the way. Don't be afraid to hand crank or to stop in between. When I get to the bottom corners, what I like to do is I like to like push the pocket and like kind of flatten out this outside piece. Again, kind of making my bottom kind of fit to the curb. And then I hold it in place and then stitch around 1/4 of an inch. Again, for my corner, I'm kind of pushing it in, flattening it, and then matching my curve, not curve. Alrighty, we have attached our pocket, and now we get this kind of wonky looking shrunken main front panel. One thing you can do, especially for the front pocket, is you can get like a blow dryer to try to get the seams in, to get your pocket nice and round. Or just roll it in between your fingers, just so that seam is nice and pushed out. Alright, so there is our pocket, nice and beautiful. And now what we're going to do, oh look, I'm looking here, I didn't catch all the curves, so I do have to go back around. Touch that a bit more. Make sure my other corners are good. Alright. Alright, so again, that's attached. Next step, we're going to make our lining pocket. Our lining slip pocket should be a 10-inch square. You're going to fold it in half. You're going to stitch around at 1/4 of an inch, leaving about a 3-inch gap so you can turn it around. I trimmed the corners. That way I can try to get my corners a little bit more even. I never seem to be able to get my corners nice and crisp though, to be fair. So oh, look, I got that one. See if I can get the rest. Alrighty. And I'm just going to fold this over my opening, and then I'm going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. Start my clip. Okay, now I'm going to fold this in half and get a nice seam, and then I'm going to fold this in half so I can get a center seam, and then I'm going to fit it on here about 2.5 inches down, about 2 inches down from the top. So I'm going to I'm going to stitch it on there at 1/8 of an inch. Don't be like me. Mine's slightly crooked, but that's okay. And then you're going to go down the center. So we have 2 slip pockets. All right, so next step, and this is why we don't do our interfacing earlier on, is to add our interfacing to the back of our the interior piece. Now, if you're using something like Decaville Heavy or Decaville Light, you can go ahead and put that on there. If you're using waterproof canvas like I did, you would just need to like add your Decaville and then press it from the top, not the bottom, because it will melt the bottom. Now I'm using Fabric Therapy's self-adhesive Therafuse. It is my ADHD friend. It helps me when I'm having bad executive dysfunction where like I want to sew and I just can't, will myself to do it. So I love this stuff. Okay. So once you have your stabilizer on, you are going to put it wrong side up with your stabilizer facing up. You are going, and then you want to mark your center. That way you center it on here. Otherwise you're going to have a crooked lining. Okay, so I just marked the top center, and then everything else should align. And you're just gonna attach it at 1/8 of an inch, making sure to like stretch it out a bit if you need to meet the sides. Let me trim this really quick though, because there are some extra bits here. Oops, I used the wrong scissors. Don't be like me. There we go. Yeah, I sharpened my scissors. Okay. So again, I'm just going to attach it at 1/8 of an inch. And ta-da! We have our lining and front panel all done. Now we'll do the back panel. Alright, so our next part is going to be the back panel and the interior for the back panel. Honestly, that front pocket is probably your trickiest part, followed by the card slots. Now, the card slots I've already prepped ahead of time, but just follow the directions, and you should get 1, 2, 3, 4 folds that are for the cards, and then one deep fold. So what I'm going to do real quick is I've ironed this already, and I'm just going to top stitch all of my folds, my top folds here, and then we'll go from there. So just top stitching at 1/8 of an inch. So I'm just taking it and folding it out of the way, and I'll go through each one. All right, so the next part I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mark my center. So I'm going to get my 3-inch ruler, because your center should be 3 inches from the side. So I'm just going to mark that here. Barely. This pin's not working that well, I guess. Well, I can see the crease. I need to redo my pin. Okay, so what I've done is I have taken my card slot and I'm going to fold the back piece out of the way, okay? So this, so when I open it, there's that long center piece, that long slip pocket, and you're just going to want to pull it out of the way, okay? So you should have 1 lip, 2 lip, 3 lip, 4 lip, and then this 5th top should be out of the way. So what you're going to do is you're going to start at number 4. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're just going to stitch down the center. Okay, so then I have my card slots all cut out. Then I'm going to fold my long slip pocket back again. I'm going to stitch the sides in place to keep them in place at 1/8 of an inch. All right, now this is tall just because when I cut it, I was too lazy to cut off the excess when I was doing it. But this whole thing should have been like 42 inches. These are the right height, so I'll just trim off the excess. Maybe these are the right height. Huh, these are extra not the right height. I don't know what I was cutting when I did this. Okay, so I'm gonna have to trim all of it. But anyways. So this should be 3.5 by 8.5. Yeah. So I went overboard. I always like to give myself a little room, so I tend to like cut things a little bit longer just in case, because I can always trim it. Can't add it. So I'm going to add this to the side at 1/4 of an inch. Alright, gonna do the same. Attach at 1/4 of an inch, and then top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. Again, if yours looks different, that's fine. Again, I just made this extra long. But what you can do now is go ahead and take it to your, see, I don't know what I was thinking here, because again, it needs to be, oh, this is 8 inches, so not even 8.5. The side should be 8. And then you just trim it. It should be 8.5, because I like to give y'all some room, just in case. And then you just trim it to match your exterior piece. And you're going to want it to align with your center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go take it to my cutting table real fast. I'm going to align it here, and I am going to trim off the top part. Okay, so I've cut off the excess on the top. Again, you should cut it somewhere. Here it is. Matching my center here. It should be bigger. I just like it to be bigger, because as you can see, I made the sides 3.5 inches, which is kind of a 1/2 inch too big. But again, I just prefer to be safe, and have that extra room than to, you know, be sorry that we made it too short. So now I'm just going to attach it on here at 1/8 of an inch, and then I'll trim whatever's left over. Okay, so my camera cut off a little bit of it, but you should have sewn it on at 1/8 of an inch, and then trim the excess, and then that gives us our big slip pocket, and then our 8 horizontal card slots. The next part is pretty easy. We're going to just take our slip pocket, put it right side up, and then put our lining right side down or wrong side up. We're going to stitch it together at 1/4 of an inch, and then top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. If you have any excess, I would go ahead and trim it because it'll throw you off. Okay, now we're gonna attach this. Make sure you're attaching this the right side up. So here my card slides facing up, and then I'm going to, I think in the directions I do this the opposite way, and I add the slip pocket first, and then I add the card slots. You could do it either way. I just felt like doing the card slots first today. So I'm just going to attach this at 1/8 of an inch. Look, y'all, I won bobbin chicken. Mira, I won the bobbin chicken. Yes. That is wonderful. Woo! We are happy about that. And I have another one ready to go. Alright, so there is my back pocket, and we have our back and our front pockets, and now we're just going to get the zipper gusset together, and we'll be good to go. Alright friends, we're on to our almost last bit, which is preparing the zipper gusset. So 2 notes. In the pattern, I only use 1 zipper, but one of my testers used 2 zippers, and I really like that for the main lining, or for the main zipper panel. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to use 2 zippers here. Again, if you want to use 1, that's fine. The pattern originally, only called for 1. I just like the look of 2 zippers. Alright, so that's note 1. Note 2, for your D-ring pieces. Two options. You can do what I do in the pattern, which is 3 inches by 1.5, which gives us that 3/8. Or you can do 2 inches by 3, which would give you a 1 inch connector, if that's what you wanted to. I just, for the longest time, only had 3/8 inch hardware, so I was like, that's what we'll go with. But you could do either or. Alrighty. So just going to stitch that and then set it aside. Alright, next part will be the zipper panel. You should have 4 pieces for this, for each side. So what you're going to do is you are going to lay the lining piece right side up. You're going to place the zipper right side up. And then you're going to place the zipper panel exterior wrong side up. Alright, so I have a layered bit here, and I'm going to connect them all on this one, the right edge. So align them on the right edge here. I like to clip a little bit down to keep them in place, and then I'm going to stitch at 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to top stitch at 1/8 inch. Then I'm going to fold that back and then align my exterior with my interior. And then I'm going to top stitch that at 1/8 inch. Alright, you can, at this stage, if you want, stitch all the way around to like align everything. I've seen that done on a couple of patterns. I just personally don't, because my ADHD brain can't handle that many steps. Let's be real. So again, there's my one side. So I'm going to repeat the process. Again, I'm going to put my lining right side up, my zipper right side up, and then my exterior wrong side up. Align them. Zip in place for just a little bit, and then stitch at 1/8 of an inch. And then top stitch at, stitch at 1/4 of an inch, and then top stitch at 1/8. Ta-da! Our zipper panel. Beautiful. I am digging this navy and gold look. So now I'm going to take my strap connectors and I'm going to stitch them on. I always like to leave about 1/2 inch hanging off on that. So I'm just going to baste it on there in between the, like right on the center of the zipper teeth. Alrighty. Last step for the gusset is to add our main gusset piece. So you're going to put the lining right side up, the zipper panel, the zipper panel right side up. Then you're going to line up the corners. And then you're going to put your exterior piece right side up. Again, you're going to match it there. And you're going to start on one side. You're going to sew it together at 1/4 of an inch and then turn it and stitch at 1/8 of an inch. Okay, for your top stitching, I just want to remind you to make sure you have the lining nice and taut underneath, because you don't, I've done this several times where like my top stitching is folded too far up, and then I stitch it and then it ends up being short. So you just want to make sure that, you know, you fold it back, make sure you're getting that lining exact, and then folding it down, and you're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. Now if you over did your 1/4 inch, like I think I did, your main zipper may be a little bit wider. So at this point I would go ahead and trim the excess from the gusset piece. Or you could leave it. Like I said, it'll be a slight difference. So, but you can trim it off and then come back, which is what I'm going to do. Alright, I'm back and I have trimmed my gusset. Now again, if you were accurate with your 1/4 inch seam, you shouldn't have to cut off any excess, but if you're a messy sewist like I am, you might have got to do that. Alright, so now I'm gonna flip my gusset to the other side. I'm gonna bring my exterior piece to meet, so the right sides of the zipper panel and the zipper gusset should meet. Okay, now your gusset piece is a little bit longer than your main panel piece, and then you're going to bring your lining to match. You're going to align everything, and you're going to stitch at 1/4 of an inch and then top stitch at 1/8. Okay, I'm going to fold it back now. Again, I want to make sure that my lining is folded back, as you know, nice and topped, so that I'm not accidentally over stitching the lining, because again, that could shorten the lining and then it'll be uneven once you're adding it to the main body. So I'm going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. So there is our zipper gusset. Now at this point, you may stitch around the entire thing if you wish on the exterior. Again, my ADHD brain is like, nah. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my centers. and then get it ready to put onto the main body. So let's go ahead. I'm going to line up my gusset seams, and then I'm going to fold it up, set my centers, and this little piece here, and then again going to mark my centers here. Nope, that's not right. Okay, mark my centers, and now I'm going to attach it to our main body piece. Alright, so I'm going to start with my main panel. Now, what I'm going to do is, and this is one of the reasons I like having the 2 zippers, because you can't accidentally put it on the wrong way. So I'm like, yes, 2 zippers. So I'm going to find my center here, which I marked. Here's my main body. I'm going to find the center, which should have been marked earlier, and if it's not, go ahead and mark it. I'm going to turn my gusset inside out so that the exterior is facing out. Again, I'm going to find my center, and then I'm going to align that. And then I'm going to clip that into place. Whoop. And then I'm going to find my bottom center. If again I marked that, because I may not have. I did. And find my clip. And clip that into place. Alrighty. So we are ready to stitch onto. Now it's your option. I have found that, you know, I like to kind of start at the bottom here, kind of near the center, and go all the way around. So you're going to stitch at 1/4 of an inch, and then we'll add the other piece, and then we'll add our lining. So we're almost done. Yay! Now for my corners, I don't clip them. What I do is I like pinch the top and then press the lining down so that it curves. I'm trying to make sure my head's out of the way for this. And then I just stitch it on that way. So I just make sure to follow the curve without creating any, what's it called? Any pinches, any, ugh, I can't think of the word, pleats, yeah, pleats, that's the word, without making any pleats, and then I just curve around. Again, if you're not too accurate on your 1/4 of an inch going around, that's okay, because you are going to add your bias tape, or your binding, your waterproof canvas binding. So you could also just do like 1/8 of an inch and then come back around if you're struggling. But again, so for my corner, I'm not clipping the corners. I'm just kind of using my fingers to set it into place and then guiding it. You may use some like forceps here around the corner. and then making sure to fold that in. And I'm going to do the same for this other corner. Again, trying to keep my big old head out the way. I am just, ooh, I thought I broke it, but I kind of did, but that's okay. Again, I'm just rounding the corner, making sure not to make any pleats. Corner. All right, so we've attached it to our main body. What I do like to do is turn it to make sure you've caught all of these seams, because I can definitely tend to like miss some if I'm not paying attention or if I'm off a little bit. So I just turn the whole thing so that I can, you know, push out all my seams. See, like right here, I need to stitch back over. Right here, I need to stitch back over. And on the bottom left corner. So what I'll probably do is not actually stitch back over, but I will make sure to be more true to my 1/4 of an inch when I'm adding the bias tape. So, see if this is the right one. All right, so this is 1 inch bias tape. On the front pocket, we use 3/8 inch, and this is just 1 inch of waterproof canvas. So I just fold it over, put it into place, and then we are going to sew that on at 3/8 of an inch actually, for the waterproof canvas. So again, that's why I'm like not going to go back over the stitches without the bias tape, because without the waterproof canvas binding, because again, we're going to stitch this at 3/8 of an inch. So it's a 1 inch binding, folding it in half, and then I'm going to stitch up 3/8 of an inch. Around my corners, again, I just go slowly, and then I kind of pleat the corners for the lining if I have to, as I just kind of go through and hold it. think that's the best binding I've done on one of these. All right, got a little bit of thing there. So again, at this point, I'm gonna make sure to open my zipper, and then now now is probably the best time to flip over and make sure that I have caught all my seams. Now that I've done the 3/8, I can check for sure. Looks like I caught everything except for this one side seam. I just need to go over that a little bit. Looks gorgeous. Beautiful. Okay, again, I just need to catch this one side seam that is being stubborn. Cut the side seam. Beautiful. Alright, so that's all set. Now on to the last piece. We're almost done. So we're just going to add the last panel now. And we'll be done. Add the last panel and the last binding. Oh, and I guess, yeah, the strap. I've been using mostly webbing for the straps of these, so I didn't prepare. You can always check out my Cutie tutorial to see how I do the strap, because that's how I do straps. But I am not going to do a strap specific video this time around for this one. Alright, perfect. So again, I'm going to start at the bottom. It'll be kind of hard to see with the top in the way, but I'm going to stitch at 1/4 of an inch and then come back around and add my binding at 3/8 of an inch. Again, for my corners, I'm not clipping, I'm just holding in place, kind of pushing back, and then following the curve. Now you can clip it if you want. You can clip it to fit it in place. I just don't. Again, another step. My ADHD brain is like, nah. Almost caught my finger there. Not on the needle, but on the little middle stamping part. Again, I'm just folding it. Until I get to the straight edge. Oh man, this is like perfect. This fits perfectly. happy with this one. Let me make sure I'm recording. Okay. I've definitely, like, my fear is always that I'm not recording when I'm doing the, like, hard stuff. But look at it. It's so cute. It's almost done. I really like this, these pockets that I put into this one. All right, so last step and we'll be done. So again, I'm going to fold over the top piece of my waterproof canvas. I'm just going to attach it here. And this is 1 inch waterproof canvas that I've just cut, and I'm going to stitch it at 3/8 of an inch. And I take my, I think I did mention this earlier, but I take my other end and then I fold it over too. Ew, came out so good. All right, moment of truth. Turn it. Make sure we caught all our seams. Gosh, this is really the best one I've done so far. Everything fits so beautifully. It's not too bad to turn either because it doesn't have that much interfacing. So there she is in all her sacred beauty. Don't be like me, push out all their seams. Someone in the tester group recommended like clipping the seams and or using like a blow dryer to push out all your seams if you need to. But again, my brain's like, can't be bothered. So there she is, the completed Guadalupe Crossbody. You did it, and I'm so proud of you. And thank you for joining me, for purchasing the pattern. And I hope you enjoy making it as much as I enjoyed working on it. She's all done.